Yukta Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriya Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma Kurvanapi na lipyate. Yoga Yukta Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriya Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma Kurvanapi na lipyate. Yukta Vishuddhatma na lipyate. Mataji. Yukta Vishuddhatma Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma Yatate. Yukta Yoga Yukta, engage in devotional service. Visuddhatma, a purified soul. Vijita Atma, control, self-control. Jitaindriya, having conquered the senses. Sarvabhuta, to all living entities. Atma Bhutatma, compassionate. Kurvanapi, although engaged in work. Na, never. Lipyate, is entangled. Please repeat. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone. And everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. Purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. One who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is dear to him. This is due to his Krishna consciousness. Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna, just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree. He knows very well that by pouring water on the root of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and the branches, or by supplying food to the stomach. The energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all. He is very dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. Because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, his senses also control. Because his mind is always fixed in Krishna, there is no chance of his being deviated from Krishna. Nor is there a chance that he will engage his senses in matters other than the service of the Lord. He does not like to hear anything except topics relating to Krishna. He does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. And he does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled. A man is, if of controlled senses, cannot be offensive to anyone. One may ask, why then was Arjuna offensive in battle to others? Wasn't he in Krishna consciousness? Arjuna was only superficially offensive because, as it already been explained in the second chapter, all the assembled person on the battlefield would continue to live individually as the soul cannot be slain. So spiritually no one was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only their dresses were changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present. Therefore Arjuna, while fighting on the battle of Kurukshetra, was not really fighting at all. He was simply carrying out the orders of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. Such a person is never entangled in a reaction of work. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Salakaya Chakshurun Miritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sanyavadi Pasatya Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is the chapter 5, Sannyasa Yoga. And here, before earlier, Arjuna has been asking a question from Krishna. Is confused. Which is better? First of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Tell me kindly, which of the two is more beneficial? Right? So, earlier Krishna would say every action has a reaction. So, then Arjuna understood that it's better to renounce work. If every action there is a reaction, then it's better to stop doing action. That's what Arjuna was thinking. Otherwise, if we'll continue to do action, there will be reaction. You wanted to renounce work. It's called karma sannyas. Right? Karma sannyas. Renounce work. Right? But in chapter 3 also, Krishna said that, no, not every action has bad reaction. So, is it not every action has reaction? Yes. Yagyartat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanat. Action has to be performed for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. Any action that we do has to be done for the satisfaction of the Lord. Otherwise, the same action will become the cause of bondage. Will become the cause of entanglement. Prabhupada gives the example of, the silk makes silk. So that silkworm produced the cocoon, its own house, where he lives inside. And then it died. Inside the cocoon, the silkworm died. because there is no door, no window, nothing inside. It died. Now who is the cause of his death? Himself. His own action. His own action became the cause of its own death, because he's the one who made that cocoon, that silk. Right? So, action can be cause of death, of entanglement, but action can also deliver someone. Right? Yes. So Krishna is telling that not every action, but action that is done for the satisfaction of Vishnu does not make one entangled. Right? If this action is not done for the satisfaction of Vishnu, the same action will become the cause of bandhan, become the cause of bondage. This is why people that do not understand why I'm suffering, I'm such a good person. Why I'm getting so much pain, so much suffering in my life. It's not because of someone else, it's all because of our own previous action, which is entangling us nowadays. So action has to be done. It's like, for example, if your feet is pricked by thorn, right? How do you take it out? You need another thorn, the pin, right? So the pin is also like a thorn. So one thorn is a cause of suffering, but the other thorn is a cause of relief, right? You need a thorn to take it out. So one thorn is a cause of pain, the other thorn becomes the cause of relief. So it's like that. It works like that. Or you're doing mechanic work, or you're cleaning the pots, so much of ghee and greasy things. How do you take it out? By soap. But soap also is grease, right? Or sometimes in field, when in the forest, when fire is catching in the forest, so how do they extinguish the fire? By putting fire on the other side, and that stop the fire. So it works like that. So action, sinful action, how do we purify sinful action? By doing spiritual, positive action. That will counteract. So that's what Krishna is telling, that action, we cannot renounce action. Sannyas yoga. Sannyas, karma sannyas. Karma sannyas means to renounce work. This is what Arjuna wanted to do. He wanted to just leave everything. If there is reaction for every action, it's better I go to the forest. He was thinking to take sannyas. Right? To renounce everything, take sannyas. But it's a verse here in the previous. We're just reading that. It said that our renunciation is not complete if we don't know. If we renounce unknowingly without any understanding, then our renunciation is incomplete. Right? So anyway, in chapter 6, the 31st verse, chapter 6, Anasritaye karma phalam. Karma phalam sasanyasi cha yogi cha na niragni na chakriya. So sannyas doesn't mean that we renounce everything. This is taught by also Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. Real sannyas is yukta vairagya. Yukta vairagya means use everything in the service of the Lord. This is a real sannyas. Krishna is saying sannyas doesn't mean one who doesn't work and who doesn't light fire. Right? Not the one who lights no fire and perform no work. He is not sannyasi. But Arjuna's understanding was thinking that sannyasi would mean no work, no fire. Stop lighting fire, stop working. That's sannyas. But that's not sannyas. That is not the real sannyas, to renounce work, to renounce. Renunciation is not complete. Arjuna was thinking like that. But Krishna is saying, chapter 6, text 1, na niragnir na chakriya. Na niragnir, not the one who lights no fire and perform no work. Right? So he's not sannyas. That means sannyasi means one who performs works and lights fire. This is called yukta vairagya. I asked this question to my Guru Maharaj. So where are the sannyasis working? And where are they lighting fire? They can also light fire. Yes, they light fire. They may not cook for themselves, but they can cook for the Lord. They have to light that fire. They can perform yajna. They're lighting fire. Sannyasis can also, you say the kirtan. Kirtan is also fire, right? The fiery kirtan. You understand? The fiery kirtan. So that's also fire. Right? So in that way, they can light fire, the sannyasis. Because we're not practicing dry sannyas. Dry. It's not dry. And how are they performing work? Where are they doing work? They're working. Sannyasis are working in our society. They're going out, they're preaching. They're building temple. They're doing book distribution. That's work. Right? It's not inaction, it's the action, full of action. But action in Krishna, consciousness. That's a real sannyas. Sannyasa yoga. Right? Action in Krishna. This is why here, in this text here, text 2, he said, the renunciation of work in devotion are both good for liberation, but of these two, work in devotion, service is better than renunciation of work. So in text 7, one who works in devotion, who is pure soul and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. Sannyasis are working. They are doing book distribution. They are cooking. They are preaching. But they never get entangled. They work. That's a work. But they don't get entangled. A devotee is also working. They don't get entangled. That's the only difference. In another place, Prabhupada is saying two people are cutting vegetable. One is cutting vegetable for Krishna, another is cutting vegetable. Both look same work. But one who is cutting vegetable for his own sense gratification, that he will get entangled. Right? But one is cutting the vegetable, looks similar. But one is cutting vegetable for the Lord. And that will free him. That action will free him. Right? This action will free him. If it's doing for Krishna. So and he's also dear to everyone. Dhira dhira jana priya priya karo nirmat saro pujito. The dhiras, the Goswamis, they were dhira. They were also friendly with the ruffians and the good people. Dhira and adhira. Adhira means the ruffians, the gundas. They were very dear to everyone. One who is devotee, one who is able to control his senses is dear to everyone. And everyone is dear to him. Right? Especially the devotees. And although working, such a man is never entangled. Now, Krishna also is telling in Bhagavad-gita, that's in chapter 3, he says that you have the right to work Karmani evadi karaste ma phalesu kadachana. You have the right to perform your duty, but you don't have the right for the fruits of your work. That is real sannyas. That we should not enjoy the fruits of action. And Krishna is telling Arjuna, he said, you must work. And that's why he gave the example of that verse, yat acharati shreshtas tat tat evitaru jana sayat pramanan kurute lokastat anuvartate. That you have to perform your duty, you have to set example. Whatever great men do, common men will follow. That's why he gave the example. And Prabhupada gave the point in the purport that a teacher cannot tell the student not to smoke when he himself is smoking. He cannot tell. He has to set example. Yet acharati shreshtas tat tat virajanucha srayat pramanan kurite lokastat anuvartate. Whatever great men will do, common men will follow. So Arjuna, you're a great man. The king, in the line of the king. Royal family. You should set example. And if you don't set example, everything that you do, you will ruin society. You will disturb society. You will put the world in ruination if you don't set good example. You know? And he again point Krishna to Arjuna, one point that Arjuna raised in chapter 1. Another point that Arjuna said, if I kill all these men, the woman will become widow. You know? Dharma bhivat Krishna pradushanti kulastriya. To stay varsnaya jati varna shankara. And there will be unwanted progeny. Remember that? Arjuna said, if I kill all these men, the woman will become independent, will become free, and there will be degradation in womanhood. When there will be degradation in womanhood, and they will give birth to unwanted population, unwanted progeny. And nowadays, if we see chaos all over the world, so many problems all over the world is solved because of unwanted progeny, or creating disturbance, born without any sanskar. Right? So, on that same point here, Krishna is telling Arjuna, if you don't work, then you will give rise to unwanted progeny, unwanted population. Krishna is using the same point to Arjuna. If you don't work, then you will give rise to unwanted population, a kind of population that will create disturbance in society. So, and then Krishna is telling Arjuna, you're not the doer. You think you're the doer? You're not the doer. Prakrite yamanani gunas karmani sarva ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. This is due to false ego, that you think that you're the doer. You're the doer. Who is the doer? In that context, the three modes of material nature. Prakriti kriyamanai gunas karmani sarva. Gunais karmani sarva. Guna, three modes of nature is the doer. All these big cities in Slovenia, who is the doer? Who's making that? You think you're doing that? It's the three modes of nature. The minister will die one day, but this will continue. You know. So karmani prakriti yamanai gunas karmani sarvas ahankara vimudhatma ahankara, due to ahankar. A foolish person is thinking he's a doer. And ahankara vimudhatma. Karta aham, I am the doer. So, it's all the three modes of nature. Krishna is telling to Arjuna. And then, Krishna is telling, I'm God. I'm Supreme Lord. I don't need to work. I don't need to do any action. But still I'm working to set example. Right? I'm working to set the example. If I don't work, people will follow me. And they will be ruined. Right? They will be doomed if I don't work. I myself, I'm working. If I don't work, then people will be doomed. I will become responsible for their destruction. I'll become responsible. So I am working. I don't need to work. I don't have desires. But still I'm working to set a good example. So you Arjuna, you should also set the example. You are from the kingly family, royal family. Now, why Krishna is working? Krishna is saying, I'm also working. In Vrindavan, he is not working. In Vrindavan, he is just playing the flute and chanting the devotees in Vrindavan. No duty there, real duty. But his duty is in Dwarka. He's performing his duty in Dwarka. He is very responsible. Because Dwarka is abode of duty. Vrindavan is abode of prema. Right? So Vrindavan is abode of prema, but Dwarka is abode of duty. So in Dwarka is responsible. He's doing his duty. Varnashram. He goes to the assembly hall for meeting every day. 16,108. 16,108, right? Krishna, living home, and when they all come in the road, they all become one. And then he goes to the assembly hall. He's responsible. He's doing his duty, meeting the people, talks about the management. That's duty. And then he comes back. Yeah, duty more. He talks to the wives. That's duty, his duty. He talks to his wife. You know, if he doesn't talk, there will be a big problem. So he's talking to his family members. He's talking to his daughters and sons at home. Give them time. And he's also giving cows donation to brahmanas. Of course, in Dwarka, he's not taking care of the cows, but he gives donation cow to the brahmanas. That is doing his duty. And he gets up early in the morning. Krishna gets up early in the morning also. You know, he meditates, he does meditation also. Very early morning. Krishna is God, but upon whom is meditating? Huh? Himself, yes. He meditates upon himself. That we cannot do because we're not God. He's God, he can do it. He's meditating on himself, means he's meditating on God. It's not impersonal. Himself means he's a person. But that we cannot do because we are not God. We cannot meditate on ourselves. We haven't meditated on Krishna. So Krishna is doing his duty. He's telling Arjuna, you have to do your duty. But I'm also setting the example. So this is why work should not be given up. He wanted to give up and go. And Krishna is telling him that no one can renounce from work. No one can remain without doing anything. Is anyone? Who? You may say, Maharaj, but I'm sitting. But then you're doing the action of sitting. Somebody said, I'm sleeping. But you're doing the action of sleeping. Somebody said, okay, I'm yogi, I'm just sitting. But you're breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. That's the action. No one can remain without any action. Even somebody has to survive, he has to work to maintain a family. Who is? Even the ants are doing job, moving here and there. Right? There's not a single person who is not doing anything in life. Everybody has to work. Krishna tells Arjuna also, even if you don't want to work, you don't want to do your duty as fighting, but if you go in the forest something will happen. Maybe you're going to fight with the animals because that's your nature. Right? You want to renounce work, but that's your nature. You'll find some animals in the forest, you're going to fight with the animals. But that's your nature. Even if now you want to renounce, right? That's your nature. So you're going to fight with the animals. You're going to fight with somebody else. You know? So no one can remain without doing anything. Who is there? Even the yogi, you're breathing. Yes. So, but that was what is condemned. It is said that in Kali Yuga, a few things that should not be done, right? One of it is like sannyas. Do not take sannyas in Kali Yuga. But this is not the Vaishnava sannyas. This is a karma sannyas. Or Mayavad sannyas. This is not allowed. Or karma sannyas means to renounce work. You see, in the past, in other age, the life air used to remain in the bones. Bones. There. Even if you don't eat, like Hiranyakashipu was doing tapasya, his body was completely eaten by ants. But his bone was there. So life air remained in the bones. He could survive. But in Kali Yuga, the life air doesn't remain in the bones. It remains in the food, in the grain, food grain. So this is why no one can remain without, working and eating. Because life air is in the grain. So this is why the karma sannyas renounce work. But Vaishnava sannyas is allowed. Because the understanding of sannyas is to work. Yukta Vairagya, the very first person who has been putting coat, big coat, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, and riding a limousine car. He would go and meet big people, limousine car and big coat. He's a sannyasi. So this is Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means using everything in the service of the Lord. Not like you see sometimes some sannyasi, Mayavad sannyasi. They see them in Vrindavan, they're sitting there begging, some money. They don't do anything. They don't want to do anything. This is Mayavad sannyas. Or karma sannyasi. How renounce work, they're just sitting there and begging for money. But that's not the proper understanding. It's called dry sannyas. Renounce work. Of course, even Arjuna also, although he was not a sannyasi, but the mood, the understanding of a sannyasi should be understood. Is there in everyone to renounce the world. So, yes, work in devotion is better than renouncing work. Right? So the Jnanis, they renounce work. Mayavadi sannyas, they renounce work. But our proper understanding of sannyas is to work in devotion. Work in devotion, and then there will be no entanglement. Yadyat karmano nyatra lokuyam karma bandhanat. Work has to be done as a service, as an action has to be done for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. Otherwise, the same work becomes the cause of bondage. And here it is said, Kurvan api na lipyate. Kurvan api na lipyate. So, although such man is working, though always working, such a man is never entangled. This is what the sannyasi, Mayavad sannyasi, was telling Mahaprabhu. What are you doing? You're a sannyasi, you're supposed to be reading Vedanta. You're supposed to be reading Vedanta, so why are you associating with the sentimental bahuka, or fanatics, what he said. Why are you associating with fanatics? You're supposed to be reading Vedanta. And what Mahaprabhu said? Yes, my spiritual master told me that I am fool number one. I cannot understand Vedanta. So he told me to chant Hare Krišna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. He said, you are fool number one. And he quoted that verse. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nastiva 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 Gadir Anyata. It's mentioned. And the Mayavadi sannyasis could not deny this. They could not deny it. They cannot say no, because they know that verse also. Iti sulasaka namnam kali karmasa nasan. That is coming from Kali Santara Upanishad. And they are Mayavadi, so they read Upanishad. They know that verse. They're a scholar. They cannot deny it. If they deny it, then that they would not be showing their scholar. And if they say it also, this is not good for them. That will be against their philosophy. It's to pronounce it. If they say it, they agree with it, it will be against their philosophy. And if they deny it, that will also make them fool. That they are not great scholar. They know that verse. And then they told Mahaprabhu, okay, you're chanting, fine. But then why you're dancing? Why you're dancing like mad? And then Mahaprabhu told them, yes, son, that happened to me. I went to my Gurudev and asked my Gurudev, what is the cause of my becoming mad? Why I'm dancing? Why I'm chanting this holy name? I started to dance, Gurudev. Why is that? What is the cause? I became mad. And Gurudev said, my Gurudev told me, yes, my dear son, this is a result. This is a result of chanting the holy name. So, yeah. And then Ishwar Puri quote one verse from Bhagavatam. Roditi, Hashati, Nitritati. After chanting, one will start laughing, crying, rolling, and hair standing on hair. At the end, it's the result of chanting. Ecstatic emotion comes up. And then the Vedanta, the Mayavadi sannyas. Okay, you're chanting, you're dancing, fine. But why you're not reading? Vedanta. And then Mahaprabhu said, Vedanta is clear. Vedanta is like the pure sunshine. Clear sunshine. But your interpretation, your Mayavadi interpretation is like a dark clouds covering the sunshine. The dark cloud covering the real meaning of Vedanta. That is condemned. And then they immediately, all of them became devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. So devotion, that's why he's saying, yeah, work in devotion is better than renouncing work. I think that's the second verse. The renunciation of work and the work in devotions are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Because work in devotion, we are engaged in all our senses into the service of the Lord. All the senses get engaged. So the yogis, what they do, they're trying to control the senses by their own effort. The jnanis trying to control the senses by their own effort. But bhaktas, they control the senses by the mercy of Krishna. That's why devotional service is the topmost yoga. All the senses are engaged. There's a cat. Prabhupada gave the example. The cat is carrying the puppy, the baby cat. How? With the mouth. And the monkey is also carrying this baby. What is the difference? You know the difference? The mother. Yes. And the baby cat, the cat is carrying the kitten, the baby cat with his mouth. So which one is most secure? the baby cat, right? Because mother is holding. The monkey, what are the monkey? The baby monkey is holding onto the mother by his own effort. If there is a looseness, discrepancy in holding, then you will fall down. So this is why Bhakti Yoga is highest. And then Arjuna is saying it's very, very difficult to control the mind. Speak about senses here. It's better for me to control the wind than controlling the mind. Even the wind is difficult, right? What to speak of the mind. But Arjuna is saying, you can do it. Control the wind and the mind. But then Krishna said, yes. Krishna is not denying. Krishna is saying, yes, it's very difficult. Undoubtedly. But it is possible. It is possible. Prayas Vairagya. It is possible by practice and renunciation. Renounce and gratification and practice devotional service, practicing chanting of the holy name. Hare Krišna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nidai Gaur Premanande. Any comments? Or anybody has any question? Yes. Yantra?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, what about these actions? But because in the beginning, the devotional service is when we have no personal motive. But in the beginning, let's say we are doing 5% for Krishna, 95% for me. What about these actions?
Beginning. Yes. You see, it's like a hospital. To go to hospital, do you wait when you get better to go to hospital or when you're sick? Yes, you don't wait when you get better. Right? So ISKCON is like a hospital also. Anybody comes. Sometimes people would say, I can't go, I'm eating meat, I cannot chant. No, it doesn't matter. Even if you're eating meat, chant Hare Krishna. You chant Hare Krishna and it will get purified. And then the meat will stop. You understand? So even though we are coming with, because there are all types of people coming to Krishna, right? Who are they? Sisi Panchtattva Artha-artharthi, right? Artha-artharthi, Jnana, Jigyasu. Artha, 4 types of people approach Krishna. And 4 do not. The 4 are those Artha, one who is in wants of economic, wants wealth. And one who is suffering also. Another one who is in error. One who want to know the truth. So 4 types of people approaches Krishna. So even if you have material desires, akama sarva kamova moksha kama udharadi tivrena bhakti yogena. So even if you have desires, even if you don't have any desires, even if you have moksha kama, desire for liberation, you can approach Krishna. So by approaching Krishna, one become purified, right? One become purified. So then slowly, all these anarthas get away. But of course, there is also, you have to be careful, there is also devotional service in the modes of goodness, devotional service in the modes of passion, and devotional service in the modes of ignorance. That's being told by Kapila Muni to his mother. Right? Like for example, a pujari who takes care only of deity, who ignore the people, ignore everyone. My connection is with deity only. Is called a separatist, according to Kapila Dev. separatist, separate everyone from God. I'm alone with Krishna. As a separatist. That's devotional service in the modes of ignorance. It is not service which is it ignorance. It's a performer. Service is service. Right? But the performer is in that mode. So this is why. But if in beginning somebody has all this motive, sincerely you want to serve, and by serving properly, slowly, all the anarthas will disappear. So sometimes devotees also say, why I'm doing so much, I'm not seeing very much advancement, and I'm not making progress. But I heard Radhanath Maharaj he said, we should give up all bad habits, right? All bad habits as well as new bad habits. What are the new bad habits that we have created within ISKCON? Right? We have also started creating new bad habits, even within the movement which we were not doing before. Right? For example, maybe Vaishnava Prat, before becoming a devotee, we were not doing that. Because we were not staying with the devotees. Or maybe the mobile phone with all these gadgets. That was not there before. And we've learned within the movement, because that just came. So many things, anarthas are there. So he said very nicely, we should give up all bad habits, and then as well as new bad habits. Then we'll see the progress. Okay, any other points? Stop here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nidai Gaur Premanande.